Hey Tuskegee, it's time for another episode of Black Consciousness Today. In studio, we have one of our favorite guests, Ms. Roberta Crenshaw, and our host, Mr. Arthur Powell. Mr. Powell, take it away.
Thank you, brother producer. To all of you sitting out there watching and listening, I hope you observed our last show called The Relay. It was about young people. A young lady came from Texas down to Tuskegee University to do some outreach, to solicit young people, regardless of what their major was. If they were their senior year, they could come into this program. They would teach them how to teach in the classroom. And after the 4 years with that, they have a master's degree. And if they went to, I forget the name of the program she called it, but basically low income areas where most people don't want to teach. If they did that for 5 years, their debt would be paid. The government will forgive that debt. Now, this is a program that worked some years ago when we were getting white people to come to our neighborhood, the same principle. But the focus lately has been on the need for black males, in particular in the classroom. So that movement has taken place, and I appreciate it. But I encourage all our young people and parents who have young people that may want to go into teaching profession to consider that option, okay? Because one thing it does, it allows you to touch the hearts and minds of young people who look like you. And they need that in the classroom. And you can instill certain values into them that other people cannot, because you have something in common. So it's a way for us to move our family forward, okay? And uplift, and begin to blend in certain ingredients that may not be allowed in the classroom, such as unity, because everyone's taught as an individual. But there's a way you can introduce unity in the classroom, but you just have to have the skill and heart and mind to do it. We have missed out on many opportunities. You know, I was 40 years old when I found out about the Tuskegee Avenue, and then I considered Moulton Field. Man, we used to run across that field and play. We had parties in the hangar. Nobody told me. But then I have to consider, during that time, it was against the law in Alabama to teach about black people. No one taught me about Booker T. Washington. No one taught me about George Washington Carver. I heard my daddy and my uncles talking about what they were doing in the community and how great men they were. But I was not taught in school. So we missed a lot based on the law at that time. But now that law has changed. So we have an opportunity to bring back that human spirit that used to bond within us, okay? So when we have opportunity, we need to use that opportunity for the betterment of the family. That does not keep you from achieving your personal goal. So Sister Crenshaw here has been over in our gated community, and she's running a little program over there with our young people. And I always say to people, when we enter something, what you can do as an individual is good, but when we can maximize that individual active with other individuals, get them on the same page, you're all doing the same thing, then it reinforces its strength, it blooms. So I'm going to give her a few minutes just to share with us what she's doing in our gated community off of Howard Road.
Good afternoon. 6 months ago, I had the pleasure of meeting a young man who was selling terrariums at one of our festivals, and happened to be Scott Muhammad. And he told me about seeds. So I've been part of that program as an elder. And what my job is to counsel mothers of murdered children, because I'm one myself. And I started watching the children make the terrariums. And I said to one young man, "You make money?" "Yes, Miss Crenshaw." I said, "Well, what do you do with it?" He said, "I spend it." So I started thinking, why don't I have a money management class? And I asked Mr. Muhammad, with the children of seeds. So yesterday I was blessed for my first class. And I walked in, and my first student was a 3-year-old. He's sitting by the copy machine writing little stuff, and I was amazed. So I introduced myself, and I said, "I'm Miss Crenshaw, I'm going to teach a money management class." So he said, "Well, I don't have any money right now." I said, "Well, that's all right, because when you make some, you're going to know how to spend it." So I was blessed to have 10 children in the class at 3 years old up to 16. And they were the most eager children. They came right from school off the bus, and then I guess this is like their after program. They came in, they knew I was coming, and I went back into the archives and I bought out a test. And what the test was, it has the amount of money on the sheet, and it has, and it's printed, you see quarters, dimes, and nickels, but at the bottom it'll say, where is this 16 cent? Really, it's not. And I was watching them. Some of them said yes, and raising their hand, I said, is that 16 cent? And let's count, it was 95 cent. So what they were doing, what they saw, is what they thought I wanted. But when I read it to them, they had to look. It was 5 different sections, and they had to go around and look. And they all did it. The 4-year-olds, the 5-year-olds. I told them if they got it, put a check by where they got it. They all did 6, and I said, at the end of the program, because it took us about an hour for everybody to go through the whole thing, and I thought nobody got up, nobody had to go to the bathroom, these little people sitting on the floor in front of me. So I told them at the end of the class they would get a prize. But the person that got the most answers right would get another prize. And they all got excited. And I said, well, what? I said, well, I'm about fruits and vegetables and healthy food. At first they were looking, but I had the little healthy bars. So I gave them all one, and then we did the one for the big prize. There was 2, went back and forth, and everybody joined in. And then finally one young lady won the prize. So what she got was, I thought, because where they are, they don't get a chance to send out cards, you know, greeting cards. And so I had a box of them. So I was given the one-to-one greeting cards. So then I said, well, let's just go. And I bought 32 greeting cards, and when I left, I had none. They put their hands on one little boy and said, well, I'm going to give this to my mother. So I told him, I said, you know, you're making money, and they do. If you see the terrariums, they're amazing, and they are selling them. I said, well, what you need to do is put some money aside for stamps. So you can put a stamp on your card and send it to somebody. I said, I'll provide the cards, but you have to use the money that you make to buy stamps. So one of the 8-year-olds came to me, he said, Miss Crenshaw, is that our first lesson? I said, what? He said that not everything is free. And when you want to do something, when you have to work yourself. So there was a stamp came in. So I learned a lesson too. I wasn't even thinking about that. So I go once a week. It's an hour, but yesterday I stayed 3. And I thanked Scott and Erica for allowing me to be a part of it, but when I got home I started thinking, there might be another class. What I really want to do is pull the parents in. Because there was one of the parents was sitting on the porch, and I met her before, she waved. So I said, okay, next week I'm going to wave her in. So I want to try to help the children learn how to save their money, spend it when needed, bring the parents in so they can reinforce that. One little boy told me that his mother done spent up all his money. So I said, you might not be old enough to get a bank account and a checking account. I said, but we're going to find something for some way for you. It's nothing wrong with giving mom, because, hey, she gave to you. I said, but you earned this, so we're going to help you where you can keep some. And I'm hoping I really can get some of the parents in there. And I got a few more ideas of classes to have, but I basically want to teach them how to save their money, spend their money, so when school supplies come, they can help mom. And I'm going to go and talk to Dollar Tree, because when I worked in this prison system, I was blessed when supplies came, they would give me 10% off. So if I can do that, that will save the money, and then that's community, because that's part of their community service. And I want to tell people, most businesses and stuff have something about community service. So let's tap that community service, you know, in this bill, and then I'm teaching them about business. And I enjoyed it.
Good, I'm glad you're there. And I'm also glad that the thought comes to you about trying to engage the parents. As I mentioned to you before, I was over in that area, we were trying to do a program.
Yes.
Well, we were basically going on doing things for the people instead of with the people. And I said, we need to go and speak with the parents, get the parents involved, with the parents and children. But that was not their mindset. But I know they have some very bright children, very talented.
Oh.
And I wanted us to do like a talent show over there with the poetry and all, but using their own expression. But the people I was working with had other ideas. It never came to fruition. But the fact is that someone with an organization allowed you to volunteer. See, this is part of what I say, we have all these good organizations in the community, but many of us don't know who they are because no one talks about them. So that's a source when I talk about the unity coming together, so we know what's there and who's willing to help. That's part of the overall structure that we're talking about. So we applaud you for your effort and we hope that you'll continue, and hopefully you'll reach out to other people to come in and help work with you, because none of us can do it all at all times. But if you do that, they may be able to start one in another part of the city, you know, Brown Street, wherever. Which
Oh,
young people.
yes.
So the outreach, what I'm saying, is the outreach is more about what we can do together. I'm making my contribution, but when we do it together, that's more powerful. It goes farther. And that's a seed we need to plant into our young people, our 3 years old. Okay? Since everyone likes to look at the 3-year-old. But I'm just reminded that 3-year-olds have parents, and many of us say our parents don't know how to parent, so we cannot exclude the parent. We have to work from the eldest all the way down. So we all, family, the whole family structure, what I'm saying. I have a Gmail here. I like it.
Okay.
Brother Wallace had told me about my hand before. You know? Now, some of us use our hands. I've seen other people on the high profile show where they use their hands too. I don't know whether people complain about it or not. But the focus shouldn't be on my hands. There's a message here. You know? At the end, this guy, he does include the messages, you know, something that should go forward. A lot of people look at the individual, what I'm wearing, what I'm looking at, the message. That is what's important. So my hands, you allow that to be a distraction, but it's not the focus.
Okay.
The focus should be on the message, because it is a message in it. So I just use my hand. I just told him that before. Funny thing is, a few months ago, my granddaughter was working 2 jobs. And she had to do everything to manage to let some young people go home, so she was stuck doing that work. So she confronted one of the workers about the fact that you're not doing your work. I have to do it, it means I have to stay here, you know, overtime. And she went and told the manager. And the manager said, I was looking because you were using your hand expression. Thank God she had another job, but she lost her job because of the hand expression. Many people do that. But the focus should be on the subject matter, I use that term, what the priest said. And so for guests, I bring guests on the show. I speak to them prior to the show most came. Tell them the focus is on family unity. What we can do together, how to bring about family unity. But most of the people come to the show, they talk about themselves. Now, one who came close, Brother Taylor, we had him on a couple times. Last time he was on, he was coming close to embracing the concept of family, unity, okay? When the Mack brothers came on, now they just fell right into it. Now, I got something I want to read about Brother Mack too. I'd like to have him come to town to speak to our family. Hopefully we can be motivated, okay? So specific questions, see, it's like open house. What is in your heart? I can ask you a specific question. You just respond to the specific question, but it's in your heart, or you just respond because I asked you the question. So I want people to feel free to express their opinion, their thoughts, what's in their heart, what's in their mind. And if family unity is not a part of it, it doesn't matter what question I ask. So it's free. And now our speaker coming to the table, we all should be willing to come to the table, not about self, but what can we do to solve a solution that exists within the problem. We'll be a part of it, individual and collective. You're still a part. So it does not deny anyone their own person, I know. But if you're totally self-centered, it will not work. You can answer all the questions, but when it comes to doing the work, it's not going to work. So I kind of stray in there, but One suggestion he made that maybe sometimes I should just do a show where I do the talking. But in order to do that, I need some response from you out there. What kind of question do you have in your mind? What kind of comments do you have? You know, I can think a whole bunch of things, but basically, except the ones about the hand, I've already answered them already. But people just don't realize because it's broad in scope. But we like to pick up that little minute thing. Is that a good word? No, that little bitty thing. We see that little bitty thing. So we can't capture the bigger picture and see that that little bitty thing is already covered into the picture. So I do things differently, but it's necessary, okay? It's kind of like God's Word. People have been studying the Bible for years and years. Most of them still don't, I don't understand all of it. But my point is, God is very repetitious. I don't care which book you go into, it's repetitious. He keeps saying the same thing over and over, maybe saying it in a different way. You may use different prophets, but he's constantly saying the same thing about our sins, about our contrariness, our unwillingness to love one another and do right by each other. So I cover broad terms, just come to our mindset. So I need people that I can sit at the table with at McDonald's, Burger King, anywhere. We just have a conversation so we can come to that understanding. You know what I'm saying? That is important. Now, how you feel about what I'm saying about family and unity, it includes individuals. But we have to have that collective mind, that foresight to look beyond self. Because we've had some ups and downs in life, some pitfalls. And when it comes to the families, mother, children, I've tried to raise the issue that the community at large needs to come up and find a way to show more compassion on an ongoing basis, to do things to keep other mothers from suffering that same pain. Now, I see that as a necessary must, but it has not come to fruition yet. So we keep bumming on those things. Now, I'm going to look at this from Brother Mac. No, well, let's see. This one is from Sister Ward. And in it, I'm going to read this in its time. It says, "Hello, Mr. Powell and Mr. Wallace. I pray that this finds you both well. My sister Renee just called me and shared with me your Black Consciousness Today program on Tuskegee Virtual YouTube channel that featured my brother Jane Coleman as a guest. As you might imagine, my father, sister, nephew, and I, our entire family, are still trying to come to grips with the untimely passing of my big brother, James. He was the reason why I attended and graduated from TU, class of '87, and it was one of the best times of my life. I am grateful that we shared that time at Tuskegee together. He has influenced my life more than he probably ever realized. He taught me to be a thinker, and that is something that I'm teaching my children. He also taught me to ask questions, and also the value of true friendship. He was my protector when we were growing up, and for that I am grateful. I have a blog talk radio show called There Is Life After Layoff, which I co-created and produced and hosted after getting laid off from my job back in 2012. I plan to honor my brother on the show, and will be asking friends and family to call in and share reflections about their friendship with my brother. I would be honored to have you both as callers. I would definitely keep you posted once the date is confirmed for the show, and then share the specifics. So thank you for being a positive light in my brother's journey. Alice Award. Now, Brother Coleman I'd say he was an unusual person. But when I first met him, we had some conversation about different things in the community. And his mindset was basically the same as everybody else, about your history and all this and that and the other. So we had a few conversations that I talk about today. Coming together as one. So gradually he began to fall into it. He began to get the picture. He didn't keep looking back, which most of us do, or just talking about self. Matter of fact, he brought a thing about reviving the human spirit family, spirit of family. And pointed out to us that family doesn't necessarily mean your sister, your brother, your cousin, because we have the extended family. So as we get married and have children, the family extends. So it's basically about embracing, excuse me, the entire family and the larger concept, what we can do together, the power we have, but we have the need for us to come together, sit at the table, even if you do it in my space, but we have to come together on one accord and realize that power, that common knowledge that we have. So Sister Coleman, I don't think I said in your presence before, but that unity, that common knowledge that we have, discovering our power and utilizing that power from the eldest to the youngest, sowing those seeds of black consciousness, which is what you're doing.
I'm all about family.
Yeah. So when you say you saw the mother sitting on the stoop yesterday, one mother, whatever, that means you recognize you had the children in the room, but the parents were there. So now you're thinking maybe you should try to
Next
reach out to the
Wednesday,
parents.
yeah, she'll be in class with me.
Yeah, you think it really?
If
Whatever we
children,
don't
if children
know.
want to participate, what do they need to do?
They need to go, they need to sign up. They sign up with Scott and Erica, and the children over there know exactly where they are. And they just sign up, because I did have a mother come and drop off the child, but she didn't want to stay, and I didn't push it. She came back and picked them up, and she sat down for a minute. So, you don't push them, let them. But the children, they're going to bring them in. They're going to bring them in. And I have no doubt.
That's excellent.
Okay. So
And where is this located?
Well, I call it Howard Road, but it's the Howard Road community.
Okay.
I think it's Ridgeway, I'm not sure, but it's our gated community. It's the only gated community I
We
know
have.
within our family in the Tuskegee.
I'm sure somebody will let us know.
Yeah, somebody,
I think it's
I'll get
Richmond,
more
I'm just not sure.
information.
But I know over there they have some bright, brilliant young people. And I know it's difficult to get the parents involved, but still that effort has to be put forth. And let's just say, if we continue working with the children, some parents will be persuaded to come in. But sometimes you have to do a little something extra for parents, because some do work. So I suggested, hey, let's do coffee and cake on Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon. Coffee nights, anything, just to bring parents in. And you have to make a special effort, because some do work. But that outreach, showing that you have an interest in the parents as well as in the children. Because most people, even rich folks want to get rid of the children. And they pay a lot of money. Chevy case in point. Remember years ago, the Ritalin, and there's another drug they were using in the school? And all the black psychologists, psychiatrists, whichever, spoke out against it because the damage that it could do to some children, especially ones who didn't need it. Now, they based that on the reason why it exists was because in Maryland, they had this very rich, exclusive area. And that deduction was, the parents didn't want to be bothered with the children. So they didn't mind if you put them on drugs to keep them calm. Now, I know some people when I was up south, some rich people living there, children tell me how their mom used to give them cough syrup when they were young, make them go to sleep, so they could have their parties and things. So a lot of people don't want to be bothered with their children. And some people just don't know how to be bothered with their children, okay? And then there's the others who are working so much, they don't seem to have enough time to do it. So, but from our family structure, concept, we do it together, we can make sure that all these children are getting some of the teaching, some of the training, some of the moral values, the spiritual values, you know what I'm saying? That they can thrive as they grow in age. So that's part of sowing the seeds of black consciousness. And we elders can do that with our young people. See what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And we reach our 3-year-olds. We can do things with our 3-year-olds, but those parents who we said don't know how to parent, they need our attention as well, okay? And those young people who seem to show a little careless disregard for life, they're all included in that. So we have to package it, so we.
Well, I have a few Tuskegee University students already said, if you need us, Miss Crenshaw, we're with you.
Good.
So.
And so now, as we reach the end of another episode of Black Consciousness Today. We encourage you to give us more feedback at the email that is on your screen. We'd like to give a shout out to Seed and Brother Scott Muhammad and the rest and the program over there at our special gated in Tuskegee. And join us again next week for another episode of Black Consciousness Today.